Hello and welcome to Tina's Joyful Kitchen. It is so exciting to have all of you here with me in my kitchen for today's amazing show. Let me just introduce myself. My name is Tina McDermott. I call myself the lazy inspirational chef. I'm a speaker and I'm a weight loss coach. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, and this is my love. This is my passion, and there's no place that I'd rather be than right here, right now in my kitchen, teaching you how you can find joy in the kitchen, even if you don't know or like to cook. So you can live a life that's full of health and vibrancy and free from dis-ease, free from the capital D, capital I, capital E, and a small t. We want to live it. We don't want to die it. All right, so enough about me. I would love to know where all of you are calling in from and what beverage you're sipping on right now. Love to kind of get an idea of who my audience is, where you're calling in from. Go ahead and find that chat box. I know there's a bunch of you in here. Go ahead and find that chat box and tell me where you're calling in from and what you're sipping on. Now, I've done a lot of research. And it all points down to when we multitask, we literally experience less joy. And if you haven't already figured it out, I'm all about the joy in life. So I have a favor to ask of you. I want you to pick up your phones. I want you to put them on silent. Turn them upside down so you cannot see them. Close out all of your close out of all your browsers and be with me 100% so that you can experience a ton of joy and learn so much from today's cooking presentation. So if you're in to be with me 100%, go ahead and type I'm in the chat. Let me see it. Go ahead and type I'm in the chat if you're in to be with me 100% today and experience a ton of joy. Go ahead and type I'm in the chat. Oh, wonderful. I'm in to win it, somebody says. You know, I don't get to see your gorgeous faces, and the interaction in the chat just feeds energy to me and helps me give you everything that you want and you deserve in today's class. So thank you so much for all your comments. And we also have Charlotte, North Carolina. Very good, very, very good. Well, let me tell you what we're going to make today. We're going to make this marvelous Mexican soup. I'm going to make salads in a jar, and I'm going to make parfaits in a jar. All of this is fast food in your own refrigerator, and it doesn't take a lot of time to put together so that you can have just vibrant and healthy life. People ask, Tina, where do you get your energy? From food, from the right kind of foods. And if you eat the wrong kind of foods, it can zap your energy, right? So who wants more energy? Put energy in the chat if you want more energy in your life. Put energy in the chat if you want more energy in your life. Put energy in the chat if you want. Only one person out of all of you wants more energy. Oh my gosh. Gotta be more of you. All right, 3, 4, 5 of you. Thank goodness we all want more energy. I told you this is a upbeat kind of class, and it's all about participation because you see, I know what I'm going to do today, but I want to know what it is that you want to learn. Now, who wants to learn how to cut an onion without crying? Put cry in the chat if you want to learn how to cut an onion without crying. Put cry in that chat box. Put cry in that chat box. I have 2 people who want to know out of how many? How many people are here? We got 18 people here and only 2 want to know, but I'm going to teach you because if there's one person, I'm going to teach you how to cut an onion without crying. You see this, what I call hair? Think about that's the top, right? It's actually the bottom. It's what the roots that go into the ground. But they say, now, look, I am not going to promise you that you're not going to cry when you cut an onion. However, this is a trick. You can try it and see if it works. I wear contacts and I typically don't cry unless I'm wearing my glasses. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your paring knife and you're going to put it in at the top. And you know what? That's the wrong paring knife. It doesn't have a tip. This has a better tip on it that I like. It's so very important that you have the right tools in your toolbox too. I have these stainless steel knives that I absolutely love. So you're going to cut that root ball out And you'll see that's the root ball. They say that is what causes you to cry. So cut that out before you peel all of the paper off of your onion. Now, this is a Georgia sweet onion. I love Georgia sweets. I just discovered them this year. I used to be eating, English, Tina. I used to eat a lot of Vidalia onions, sweet onions. I love sweet onions. And I discovered this year these Georgia sweets that are just the sweetest onion. And normally I would only have a couple of pieces of onion in my salad. Now I eat like a half an onion in my salad. It is so good and so sweet. All right, now who would like to learn a little bit about knife skills, how to hold a knife and not lose your fingers? If you want to learn a little bit about knife skills, put knife in the chat and I'll show you how to cut up an onion too. Put knife in the chat if you want to learn a little bit about knife skills. Put knife in that chat. Good. Thank you so much. Good. Now, most people hold their knives like so, and look what can happen. You think more fingers on the handle is going to help you, but it's not. You see how that's going to slip out? All I want you to do is put it right here. Slide those fingers all the way up to the back of the blade. Put your thumb on the other side, and now you see it won't slip. It won't slip, and that's really important. Now, I'm going to teach you knife skills as well as chopping, all at the same time. Round things I want you to make flat. When you use a knife, I want you to use not just the middle of the blade. There's sharp all the way from the tip to the end. So don't be afraid to use the entire blade, okay? You want to use the entire blade. It's a lot easier. It keeps your blade a little sharper. Sharpen your knives at least once a year, if not twice a year. Super duper important that you sharpen your blades, okay? Next, we want to grip your fingers so that you don't cut your beautiful little fingers, because we want to keep them for the rest of your life. Who loves your fingers and wants to keep them? Put fingers in the chat. Put fingers in the chat if you love your fingers and want to keep them the rest of your life. Now, let me see, fingers. A lot of people want to keep their fingers. So do I. My husband knows when I cut myself. I haven't in a long time because he knows the tone of my voice. Now, to cut an onion, onions can be slippery, and people typically chop it all the way through this way and chop it all the way through this way. I'm going to teach you a better way. You're going to score the onion. You're just not going to cut it all the way through. You're not going to cut it all the way through. Okay, not going to cut it all the way through. Just score it, and now you can go ahead and chop it. You see how it's not slipping around, and I don't have to worry about my fingers grabbing stuff, but always grip those fingers. When you're chopping, the opposite hand, your non-dominant hand, always gripped, okay? Always gripped. Now this last piece is a little slippery, so I'm just gonna flatten it out and do a couple of extra pieces. Next, never pick up your vegetables with the blade of the knife. A, you can cut your hand as you're doing that. B, it dulls the knife. One more thing about knives is that you see how I'm using a wooden cutting board? It's much gentler on the knife and keeps your knife sharper. So somebody finish this sentence for me. A dull knife is a, somebody finish that sentence for me. A dull knife is a, somebody finish the sentence. Anybody know the answer to that? And if you don't know the answer, put a 0. If you know the answer, put it in. A dull knife is a safety issue. Yes, Diane, that's correct. A dangerous knife. Thank you. A dull knife is a dangerous knife. Sharpen your knives. Sharpen your knives. Now, I got so involved in teaching you how to cut this onion and knife skills that I didn't tell you what I'm working on first. I am working on marvelous Mexican soup. Here's the thing. I want you to understand something. My philosophy of eating encompasses everyone in this whole world, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, herbivore, omnivore, meatitarian, doesn't matter. We want to eat foods that walk, fly, swim, and grow. Okay, walk, fly, swim, or grow. The more that they've been processed, the worse they are for us. But that's not to say we can't have some processing, okay? The least amount of processing, the better, okay? That's the philosophy. And we want to learn simple things, right? I use an Instant Pot. And this recipe can easily be done in a crock pot. I love making any kind of soup because at the end I can dish them out into small little containers and freeze them, put them in the fridge for 5 days, freeze the rest, feed my neighbors. It's wonderful. I love soup. I'm going to make this Mexican soup, but you can be inspired to use whatever flavors you want. You can make it Italian, you can make it Asian, you can make it whatever you want depending on the herbs you use and the vegetables you use and the proteins that you use, okay? Now, who has an Instant Pot? Put IP in the chat, or who would make a soup in a crock pot or the stovetop? I want to see Instant Pot, crock pot, or stovetop, just so that I know how to talk to you. Instant Pot, crock pot, or stovetop, okay? Good, a lot of crock pot, either or. I love my Instant Pot so much better than my crock pot anymore, although I do pull out the crock pot every once in a while. This recipe that I'm going to teach you is the same exact way you're going to make it in the crock pot. There's only one slight difference, two slight differences. The first one, the Instant Pot can take frozen meat. The crock pot cannot. It cooks way too slow, and there's a very dangerous hour there that bacteria could develop within the meat. So you don't want that. Instant Pot, you can do frozen. I defrosted my frozen meat. I find it so much more economical and easier. I know I always have some meat in I have a big freezer outside. I always have something out there, and I am going to use chicken thighs. I am lazy. Do you remember I said that part? I'm not even going to chop them up ahead of time because I don't want to get bacteria all over my cutting board and then have to wash it. I'm lazy. I'm going to cook it. And when it's done cooking, I have these scissors that I will go in there and I will chop it with these scissors later. So much easier, so much more sanitary. Okay, so now I put the onions. I'm not even going to saute. You're not even going to saute in the crock pot or the Instant Pot. We're going to put in our meat. Let me put this dish in the sink immediately. You never, ever, ever reuse a dish that had raw meat on it, ever. I have to say that because a lot of people appreciate when I do talk about that. But yeah, you never, even this fork that touched the raw meat, I am not going to touch it. The trick with crock pot or Instant Pot is layering. I layered the bottom with some onions. If you don't have onions, you can layer the bottom with any kind of broccoli or cauliflower or whatever vegetable you have. The more vegetables in your life, the better, okay? And which brings me to ask you a question. Which do you think that you need to eat most of? Foods that walk, fly, swim, or grow? Which foods do you think you need to be eating most of? Foods that walk, fly, swim, or grow? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Diana. Yes, it's foods that grow. We want to eat as many foods that grow as possible because they're full of enzymes, nutrition, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, digestive enzymes, so much more. Fiber. There's tons of fiber in grow. You need as many fruits and vegetables as you can possibly get. Now, with all of this seasoning, what I did is every time I make a lot of the Mexican soup. I have jars of Italian seasonings that I've made myself. I just pour them all together. Italian seasoning, Greek seasoning, Indian seasonings. I have them all in jars. When you buy your seasoning, I want you to make sure that it doesn't have ambiguous words like spices or autolyzed yeast extract or natural flavors. Could be MSG, which crosses the blood-brain barrier and excites those cells until they are dead or they die, right? And we don't want to kill any more brain cells that we just don't want to, okay? I've had Lyme disease, affected my brain. We do not want to affect our brains anymore. We want to be sharp. We want to be focused. We want to have brain power. So onions, chicken. I've got my spices. I did not put salt in there. I'm going to use just a half a teaspoon of sea salt. You can add more later. You could always add it. You cannot take it away. Now, my Mexican spice mix is cumin, oregano, smoked paprika, garlic powder. I could use fresh garlic, but I'm being lazy right now. Fresh garlic is much better for your immune system. And I'm probably missing a spice or two, but it's in the recipes. Did everybody get the recipes? you prefer using chicken thighs than breasts when recipes call out for them. Yeah, I use thighs too. They're more moist, and that's what we use, the thighs in here. We use the thighs. All right, now what is next? Next, we're going to put in some liquid stuff. I'm going to put in some diced tomatoes. These are in a can, which is fine. I just want to make sure that when you buy anything in a can, that the jar says BPA free. BPA is a kind of plastic that they line the inside of the jar with that is a known cancer causer, and we don't want that. We don't want that in our lives. We want to be healthy for the rest of our lives. So this particular can of tomatoes, you can use whatever kind of can of tomatoes you want, but this one has green chilies already in it. If you don't have tomatoes that have green chilies already in it, then buy another can of green chilies and put them in there. Buy another can of green chilies and put them in there, because the green chilies really pop the flavor. Now, who here is lazy and wants really super duper quick foods? Lazy, you recognize the, yes, I'm an Aldi's fan. I'm very much an Aldi's fan. It's right down the street from my house. What I can't find at Aldi's, I can find right next door at my organic market, Mom's. And yeah, so I love, sometimes I can't find these, believe it or not. Okay, so 2 cans of some tomatoes, put those aside. If you're lazy, don't be afraid of using some salsa. It's okay. It's a Mexican soup. Salsa would be good in this soup. I'm just using what I have there. I have those other cans of tomatoes. Next, I'm going to put in some chipotle. Now, the last time I made this, I put the whole can in there of chipotles, and my husband, who loves hot stuff, and me, I'm like, I'm medium on hot stuff. Definitely a medium hot stuff. Do you like mild, medium, or hot? Put it in the chat. Let me hear it. Are you a mild, medium, or a hot person? Are you a mild, medium, or a hot person? Oh my gosh, my husband, who loves hot, had a really hard time eating my soup because I put the whole can of chipotles in there. If you like mild, put 1 chipotle in your soup. If you like medium, put 3 chipotles in your soup. If you like hot, then put 4 chipotles in your soup. If you like, oh my gosh, I'm on fire, save me, put the whole can. Put the whole can. I won't do that again. He was like, Tina, I like hot stuff, but I don't like it that hot. Oh my gosh. No, do not save the rest of the chipotles in this can. Put it in another container. I always put it in glass containers. But yeah, put it in another container. Don't save it in that. I'm just going to put it over there for now. Oh, I almost forgot something. A client of mine, friend of mine, gave me tomatillo plants. Tomatillo plants. So I have these beautiful little tomatillos that I grew myself, and they've got this wonderful paper on them. And I was just going to throw them into the soup, because why not? Tomatillos belong in Mexican soup. Why else are you going to use tomatillos? I didn't realize the skin was that difficult. Look, I just threw the whole thing in there. It doesn't matter. You don't need to chop everything up, because the crock pot, the Instant Pot, will cook it up, and you're going to have your handy and you don't need your double scissors to cut stuff. I mean, you could use regular scissors to go in and cut the meat afterwards. This is being a little more difficult than I thought it was going to be with my tomatillos, to take this paper off, but it's okay. It's all right. It's going to be worth it. I grew them. That's all that matters. I grew my tomatillos. Let's see if we can do one more little tomatillo in here. Add just a little bit of it's like a green salsa. They use tomatillos in it. I love them. Who loves tomatillos? Look, and they're cute. Aren't they cute? Cute little tomatillos. Does anybody know what I'm doing with the scraps? Does anybody have an idea of what I'm doing with my scraps? Tomatillos. Ah, that's Sarah. That's funny. How did I spell that? Tomatillo. Can't indulge the heat anymore for medical reasons. Yeah, I get it. My husband calls it the ring of fire. And yeah. Who's a Johnny Cash fan? Reminded me of Johnny Cash there. Yep, I'm doing compost. I'm composting the scraps because I'm going to give them back to Mother Earth, because Mother Earth knows what to do with them. Mother Earth knows what to do with them. All right. Now, what I did is I boiled some water. Why? So that I can get this soup to cook a little quicker. I'm not sure if it's going to be done by the time we are done. And that's okay. You kind of get an idea. You know what soup looks like, right? You know what soup looks like. But in the Instant Pot, what it does, it takes time to come up to pressure. And it'll take longer if there's frozen stuff in there, or if the water's not hot enough to begin with for the broth. And I'm going to talk to you. Oh, I'm almost done. I got one more tomatillo that's being difficult with the skin. I'm really proud of myself with my tomatillos, and I know what to do with them now. Put them in soup. Put them in soup, or make salsa with them. All right. Now my fingers are a little sticky. I'll be right back. Okay. So next you're going to put in the broth. And I am very skeptical about a lot of broths because they could have a lot of MSG in it. Remember MSG, it can hurt the brain, right? And I also love bone broth. Bone broth is really good for connective tissue. It's really good for your tummy if you have any kind of stomach issues. And I found this powdered bone broth. You can get it in the hermetically sealed package, but just make sure it's organic. I've got this powdered bone broth that I get from Jarrow, and I know that this one doesn't have any MSG in it, nothing. It's wonderful. And I'm going to do about 3 scoops of it. And sometimes to make a nice snack, just put a scoop of, be careful with most bouillons, but a scoop of bone broth with some hot water makes a nice little snack. Nice, like you're kind of hungry for something, especially in the wintertime. So this is hot water. That's my broth. I'm just going to make some broth. It's about 3 to 4 cups. Yeah, that's the other thing you probably don't know about me. I don't measure. Yes, I have it in my recipes, the measurements and such, but for the most part, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that, and I don't want to deal with it. Now, finally, I'm looking over here, what else has to go in there? I'm going to put some zucchini on the top, but I love vegetables. How many cups of vegetables do you think you need on a daily basis? Does anybody know? How many cups of vegetables do you think you need on a daily basis? Put it in the chat. How many cups of vegetables do you think you need? Do you need boiled water? You don't need the boiled water in the crock pot. You can just do regular broth. I did it just so that I'm hoping that this will get done in time, but it just might not be. I'm not going to put all my eggs in the basket on this one. So what I did is I always have my freezer stocked full of frozen vegetables because we need to be eating 10 to 12 cups of vegetables a day, 10 to 12 cups of vegetables a day. So I put in 2 bags of some vegetables. And I also want to put in some zucchini. I love zucchini in this soup. And I'm going to teach you a super fast way to slice zucchini in your soup. You get a mandolin. Who knows what this is? Who knows what this is? Mandolin. I'm going to mandolin my zucchini right in there. I don't care they're big pieces. It'll be fine because I'm going to go in there with my scissors anyway. And if you wanted them to be smaller pieces, you're like, Tina, I don't want big pieces in my soup. What are you doing? Just score your zucchini. Remember, I showed you about scoring. Score the zucchini and then slice it all. Slice it all. Did I hear a what? Yeah, was that for the vegetables? Yes, 10 to 12 cups of vegetables you need to be eating on a daily basis. That is food for the soul. Vegetables. Vegetables are where it's at. We tend to fill up on carbohydrates. Vegetables are carbohydrates. Fill up on vegetables. And if you don't have a mandolin, get one. Okay, if you're using a crock pot, make sure that you take this gasket out, wash it, dry it before you put it in. Make sure that it gets tucked in all the way around. If not, it won't seal properly. I've been having a problem with the seal, so I have to make sure that it's sealed all the way around. If you have your crock pot, you'll just simply put the lid on, put it high for 4 hours, low for 8 hours. So that's the other distinction with the crock pot. It was don't use frozen food or frozen vegetables. Excuse me, don't use frozen meat. Tina, speak right. And 4 hours on low, 8 hours on medium. But sometimes I come home and I need to eat. I'm hungry, right? And I want to make sure this thing isn't going on properly. Give me a second. Oh, this is why I had a piece of zucchini in there. I knew something was up. It was on the side over here. Yeah, you want to make sure that this seals properly. I'm hungry. I don't have a ton of time. I want to be active in my life. So I'll come home. I'll throw all the vegetables and the meat in the Instant Pot. I'll turn it on for 18 minutes and go for a walk with the dogs. Now, even though I said 18 minutes, right? It takes time to come up to pressure. So Instant Pot is not, or crock pot is not necessarily less time cooking. It's less time. It's less time. It's hands off. It's a lot of time hands off. Tina, speak. Less time hands on. So now I just put it on for 18 minutes. It'll cook. It's going to take a little time to come to pressure, a little quicker because I put the boiling water in there. Okay. It's going to cook it for 18 minutes, and then it's going, I can vent it natural. I can vent it manually or let it vent naturally. Okay. I'll go for a walk with the dogs, come back, it'll be vented, everything, and we'll have dinner. It's wonderful. When this is done, I will add in a can of coconut milk. If I made it too hot, the coconut milk tames the flavor. And if you don't want coconut milk, you don't have to have it. But the coconut milk, coconut itself is antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial. I recommend that you eat coconut on a daily basis. It's saturated fat, but it's very, very good saturated fat for you because we need saturated fats, small amounts and in a constant flow. All right, we're going to let that cook, and hopefully it'll be done by our time together, by our time is through together. And if not, it's all good. When you serve it, I serve it with the coconut milk and a little bit of lime, a little bit of chopped cilantro, a little bit of chopped scallions if you want, and some Mexican cheese mix and some tortillas. Wonderful. All right, marvelous Mexican soup. Is coconut water preferred as well? I want you to drink regular water, right? Regular water is the best. Coconut water is good if it's a super hot day. Definitely drink your regular water, but you want to drink some coconut water if you want some electrolytes. It gives you some electrolytes. It gives you some sugar. One day, my husband was like, "Oh my gosh, I feel so sick." I said, "Why?" Because I don't know. I've been drinking coconut water all day. I said, "Did you drink regular water?" He goes, "No." I said, "Well, you can't substitute. You need real water. You can't live on coconut water." Okay. All right. Who loves the idea of making marvelous Mexican soup? If you love the idea, put MMS. MMS, marvelous Mexican soup, in the chat. Let me see it. MMS in the chat box. Let me see it. 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 Yes. All right. Now, if I didn't answer some questions, if you have any other questions about that, let me know. Any questions on nutrition, I want you to put them in the chat as well, okay? I want this to be about you and what you need today, not necessarily about what I have to offer. Soups are fantastic for you, for your family. If the fall is coming up, a little bit of chillier weather, it's nice to have some soup in the house. Super easy to make, so you can put this together. Oh, Instant Pots can also be used as crock pots. You can put it on low for 8 hours and it'll be done when you come home from work, or just put it together when you do come home. Next, we are going to make salads in a jar. I love salads in a jar because, again, it's fast food in my refrigerator. That is so easy to put together. So easy to put together. And even though I work from home, I have a very focused day. I don't have a lot of time to pull out 5 different things out of the fridge and make a salad. But salad in a jar, I go in, I grab it, and I go. And wherever, if I'm going to take a half an hour, go. This way I have more time to relax outdoors in the backyard for a half an hour with the dogs, or go for another walk or something, as opposed to spending time in the kitchen, right? Who would rather walk or be in the kitchen? Put it in the chat. Kitchen or walk? You want walking or kitchen? Put it in the chat. Let me see it. Would you rather walk, have more time walking, or more time in the kitchen? What would you rather? More time walking or more time in the kitchen? Yeah, walking. Very good. Yeah. Now, what I'm doing here is I am making my own salad dressing. I brought one of my salads in a jar to one of my clients, and she says, "Tina, that was a wonderful dressing. What did you do?" I said, "It was olive oil, vinegar, sea salt, and pepper." She goes, "No, it wasn't." I said, "Yes, it was. It has to do with the quality of olive oil you use. So make sure you get some really good organic olive oil. And the dressing is typically 2 parts olive oil to 1 part balsamic vinegar. My husband loves balsamic vinegar and he drinks it. I like a little less, but that's me. What do you like? What are you inspired to have? How much vinegar do you like? Now, the other trick that I do with my dressing is, this is some marjoram that I had in my garden. I can just simply put some marjoram in there. I dried it, so I can just strip it and in it goes. It doesn't matter if there's some sticks in there. If you don't want to use marjoram from your garden, if you need a fast, quick trick, get some Italian seasoning. Make sure the seasoning doesn't have any ambiguous words on it. It just says marjoram, thyme, rosemary, basil, savory, oregano, period. Not the word spices, not the word natural flavors, none of that. You don't need that in your body. And that is the reason why, half a teaspoon sea salt, I do not use bottled dressings, because most bottled dressings, A, have rancid oils, and B, have MSG. And having had Lyme disease and a compromised brain, if I introduce any of those things into my body, I cannot tell you what that thing is where you park your car in front of your house. I'm not joking. I have a hard time making sentences if that stuff gets into my body. Now, the next thing I'm putting in is freshly cracked black pepper. You will be amazed at the flavor profile of freshly ground black pepper versus the already processed black pepper. Okay, freshly ground, worth the $9 investment it was to buy this and to buy the peppercorns. It's fresh and it's wonderful, and that's what makes the big distinction here. Also, I use sea salt, full of minerals, which your body needs, full of minerals that your body needs, sea salt. And it's not sodium chloride. It doesn't raise your blood pressure. Okay. Now, if your doctor told you not to have salt, then don't have salt. But if you are going to have a little bit of salt, sea salt. Do not buy the processed salt. Okay. Is everybody with me on that? Sea salt. Put sea salt in the chat if you are with me on that and you want sea salt, not sodium chloride. Put sea salt in the chat. Yes. Yes. What's the difference with Himalayan salt versus sea salt? Himalayan is sea salt. It was just an ancient seabed that is now in the mountains. It's a sea salt. Okay. Sea salts are sea salt. They're from there's different salts from different oceans, mountains, rivers. There's river salts. The thing is, the sea salts are full of minerals, 78 plus different minerals that are devoid from our vegetables. They're devoid from our water. We need them in our body in order to survive. One of my clients, she kept getting cramping here and there, and this is going on for weeks. And I said, what kind of water are you drinking? She goes, oh, I drink reverse osmosis. And reverse osmosis not just filters the water, but it takes every single thing out. So you get as close to distilled water as possible. You're devoid of minerals. And that is the problem. You need to put a little bit of minerals back in your water. So I put Celtic sea salt in a little pinch in my water. Now, here I have my salad dressing that I made. That is the best salad dressing you will ever have. You don't want to buy bottled because of rancid oils and the spices that they put in there could have MSG. Okay. And it's about 2 tablespoons per jar. Oops, I got a whole big stick of marjoram in there, but it's okay. It's all edible. It's all good. Yeah, that's about 2 tablespoons. Maybe put a little bit more in there. I don't measure. Don't worry about it. Put the salad dressings in there. Now, alternatively, instead of olive oil and balsamic vinegar, I could have gotten yogurt with a little salt, a little garlic powder, a little bit of Italian seasoning, and a little lemon juice or lime, and made kind of a ranch dressing. Yummy, yum. These are 24-ounce wide mouth mason jars. And I get these plastic lids. I don't use the lids that come with them. They rust. I don't like the flavor on them, nothing. So now what we're going to do is you're going to put crunchy vegetables at the bottom, the kind of vegetables that can marinate, I have some beautiful carrots here, so I'm going to put carrots, but what kind of vegetables would you want to marinate in your dressing? Remember, round things, make them flat. So that you can cut them without hurting your beautiful fingers. What vegetables would you put in? Come on, let me see. Where can we get these recipes? So, oh, you found them. Okay, good. I'm glad you found them. And see how I'm using the whole knife? So what vegetables would you want to marinate and put at the bottom of your salad jar? Anybody? What kind of vegetables? So I'm putting carrots. What do you want? I'm putting carrots. What do you want? Anybody? You're just going to eat whatever I serve you, huh? I wish you were here. I would serve you. I would absolutely serve you. Bell peppers, carrots, onions. Yes, you can put those beautiful Georgia sweet onions. Oh my gosh, they're wonderful. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. Yeah, so here's carrots. All right, here we go. Lots of carrots in there. How many cups of vegetables do you need a day? Who remembers what I said? Who remembers what I said? Anybody? How many? How many? How many? Ooh, sugar snap peas would be delicious. Absolutely delicious. I'm going to show you my lazy way with celery. By the way, always get celery organic. It's one of those vegetables that stops, it's very high in water content and it cleans up toxins out of the soil. So if that soil has pesticides in it or any other kind of toxins, it'll absorb it right up. So I washed my celery intact. I made sure that there wasn't any dirt in the middle there. And I just chop it like that. Yeah, I'm lazy. Throw it in salads like that. Celery is wonderful for soups as well as fresh salads. Now, so you're going to put crunchy vegetables at the bottom. I have these beautiful little peppers. I love these peppers because if you are diabetic, I have one of my friends who's very diabetic. Unfortunately, she's type 1 and type 2. She can't have any kind of carbs whatsoever or grains. And so instead of having chips, she'll use peppers as her scoop, as her little scoop. Yeah. So, yep, we're going to use peppers here. And so you see how when you get organized, I'll make 5 of these for the week. And if I have any left at the end of the week, I'll bring them over to a neighbor. I'm feeding my neighbors all the time and my friends and my clients if I see them in person, because of course I do lots of cooking classes and it's lots of fun. This knife needs sharpening. I just want you to know. And I can tell as I'm chopping that it's being a little difficult with me. So imagine doing 5 of these and having fast food. The other thing you could do is you could have a salad in the jar party. Salad in a jar party. Have your friends come over, assign each person to a different ingredient, and then have them bring their jars over, have a little party. Of course, this has to be close friends that you could be in close proximity with, and have a salad in a jar party and make 10 jars each or something, whatever it might be. So next you want to put in any kind of softer vegetable, And I almost forgot. I have a cucumber. Excuse me. Here we go. I have a cucumber over here that my husband brought home from work. His friend has a garden on the Eastern Shore, and he brings me tons of cucumbers that, yes, I give them to my neighbors too and my friends. I don't like the skin on these cucumbers. Normally, I do eat the skin of the baby cucumbers, but not these. It's just too tough, and it's okay. It's a little bitter too. So I'm just going to get rid of that skin. So next, you're going to put in your. I mean, cucumbers you could marinate, but I don't want to marinate these. They're a little on the softer side. So now you're going to put in mushrooms. What about olives? Olives would be a good addition to these two. Olives. What else? Oh, I forgot. I almost forgot. I have these. Who knows what this is? The giardiniera mix. They're sottocetti in Italian, under vinegar. What do you want to call them? How do you say sottocetti in English? I don't know. They're vegetables that have been brined. That's the word. Brined. That's the word. I speak Italian, so sometimes I can't find the word. So I drained them, and now I've got these vegetables that were brined. If you don't feel like chopping all of this stuff, why not get some of these? The giardiniera or giardiniera. They also have olives. So I'm going to put a little bit of olives in each of those. I love olives in a salad. If you love olives in a salad, put olives in the chat. Let me see it. Put olives in the chat if you love yourself some olives. Yes, 10 to 12. You guys remember. 10 to 12 cups. Good, 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 good. What about zucchini? Why not? You can put some zucchini in a salad. There's nothing wrong with eating raw zucchini. Nothing wrong with eating raw zucchini. Sometimes I'll even spiralize it and put it in there spiralized. A little fun to eat. I'm going to make those pieces a little smaller. Here we go. And I could have used my mandolin for this, but quite honestly, zucchini is super easy to make. I mean, it's super easy to cut. So next, what do you think goes next in our salads? Anybody? Anybody? What goes next in the salads? What goes next in this fast food salads in a jar? What goes next? Anybody have a clue? Anybody? 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 Lettuce, but not yet. I like some protein. Typically, I'll do hard-boiled eggs. I didn't get around to making hard-boiled eggs today, but last night I made some shrimp. I grilled up some shrimp and I didn't finish the shrimp. We didn't finish their shrimp. So I'm like, ooh, shrimp would be nice in my salad in a jar. So now you're going to put, I'm going to put my shrimp in them. Let's see, we'll do shrimp, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put a couple in here. I'm not going to put all that juice because I don't want all that juice in there. You could if you want. But what other protein would you want to put in your salad in a jar? What other proteins would you want to put? You go, oh yeah, tomatoes, I forgot. I have some little cherub tomatoes over here that I completely forgot all about. Yes, yes, and yes. I'm going to tell you what my grandmom told me. She would tell you, si lava cuando si usa. And what that means is that you don't wash your vegetables unless you're ready to use them. All of these, of course, I washed this morning, but don't wash them until you're ready to use them. I love these little cherub tomatoes. Tomatoes, especially, if you wash them and then let them on the counter, they will accumulate mold. So you don't want that. Wash them right before you're about to use them. They won't accumulate mold in your jars, though. For some reason, the way that it's all fresh in the refrigerator, because I'll put these in the fridge. So, yep, put a bunch of tomatoes. But what other protein would you want in your salads in a jar? Anybody? Put a lot. Oh, chicken. Yeah, chickpeas. I've got some pinto beans here. You can do some beans. What about salmon? Salmon in a jar. What about, don't scoff, sardines? They are wonderful brain food, full of omega-3 fatty acids, better than any other fish. Are sardines. Just make sure that it doesn't have rancid oils. Olive oil is good, okay? Tuna fish, yes, some good tuna fish. You could also get like a rotisserie chicken, cut up the leftover from the rotisserie chicken, put the chicken in there, hard-boiled eggs. So many wonderful things can go in there. Now, finally, well, not finally, I'm going to put a little cheese at the top, but next what I'm going to do is I'm going to put whatever lettuce I want, okay? I thought I'd open this. Why isn't this opening? Here we go. It was open. So now we're going to chock full them of vegetables. Now, when it's time to eat, you just shake it up in the jar or turn the jar upside down or dump the whole thing into a bowl. And you'll just end up having to wash 2 different things. But you can eat this out of this jar. It might look difficult, but it's not. Turn the jar upside down, let the marinade, let the dressing disperse throughout, and then eat it up. Now, this is a mix of arugula and spinach that I absolutely love, love, love. My husband doesn't. But what kind of lettuces do you like? What kind of lettuces are your favorite? Those are the ones that you're going to put in your jar. At the very, very top, I like to put a little bit of cheese. I like to put a little bit of cheese. This is this crumbled goat cheese that I have. You can use Parmesan cheese. You could use no cheese. It's all up to you and what you like. Finally, you're going to put your lids on. And you can use the lids that come with the jars. I just don't like them. Those do seal. They just rust, and throw them away when they do rust. Ball also makes a black lid that seals. These don't seal. So if you put them in your briefcase or in a bag upside down, they will leak. But you can shake it up. It's not going to leak. Okay. Just don't store it upside down. So there we have it. Our salads in a jar. Ta-da! Isn't that fun? Do you guys love that? Who loves salads in a jar? Who's going to make salads in a jar? Type salads in a jar in the chat. Arugula and spinach. You missed, was there preference of the type of jars? I use mason jars. Wide mouth mason jars. Yeah. Salads in a jar. Good. Who's going to make salads in a jar? Put salads in a jar in the chat box. Let me see it. Salads in a jar in that chat box. Let me see it. You will try again. Have you tried before? Have you tried before and failed? Is that what happened? You said you're going to try again. All right. Now, lastly, or finally, we are going to make parfaits in a jar. We're going to make parfaits in a jar. I just want to get some vegetables off of my tray here. You know what? This is what I'm going to do. Turn my cutting board around. There we go. Okay, let's talk about parfaits in a jar. Yep, parfaits in a jar. Why? They're easy. They're fun. They're fast food right in your refrigerator. So let me get my tray over here. Bring it on over. I'm going to move some things around. I'll be right with you, okay? All right, this is just going to have to go. It's that simple. Here we go. If you're having fun, put fun in that chat box. If you're having fun time with me today, put fun in that chat box. Let me see fun in that chat box. If you are having fun with me today, yes, good. Yeah, I prefer the plastic top over the metal top. What other question do we have here? Metal will eventually rust. That is why, yeah, that's why I prefer the plastic ones. Yep. There are black ones that have that seal too. Yeah, you don't want rust in your body and all of that other fun stuff. So now for breakfast, for lunches, for snacky snacks, a really phenomenal, tasty, oh my gosh, I love having these ready in my refrigerator in the morning because I've got a busy morning with taking care of the dogs, cleaning up the house, and then getting to work by 8 a.m. So thank you. A lot of people are having fun. I'm so excited. I'm so excited you're all having a good time and having fun. So next we're going to make parfait in a jar, right? Parfait. And what you see here are some beautiful walnuts on a stone cookware tray that I put it in my toaster oven and I literally hit toast and toast them up. It brings the flavor up in the walnuts. I never buy them already with salt on them. I buy them raw, plain, and I toast them myself. This way you're assured not to have the bad salt. You're assured not to have MSG, which yes, can be in a lot of nuts. And so this is how we're going to start. You can get yourself some cottage cheese. You can get yourself some yogurt. I love brown cow cream on the top. Holy cow. This cottage cheese also is a cultured cottage cheese. So you're going to get all your protein from the dairy. Now, if you're dairy free, then don't make these parfaits. But if you can do dairy, they also have yogurts that are made with cashew milk, almond milk, coconut milk type yogurts. So you can do this parfait with those types of yogurts. I forgot to open the lid on this one here, but that's okay. This is how I do it. Yes.
Are you aware, Andrew can't remember, but he's seeing if there's any issue with cashew nuts.
Issues, and what kind of issues are you talking about? What kind of issues, Andrew? I'm not sure. Cashews, I can tell you, are not a nut, if that means anything. They're actually a fruit, and it's a part that grows off of the fruit. And where they are grown, the natives throw the nut away and eat the fruit. So I do know that. You can't remember offhand, but it's been an issue. But is there an issue with cashew nuts? No. Cashews are not necessarily a nut, like I said. They do have protein. I love cashews. Some people might be allergic to them. That's all I can think of. So when I make my parfaits, I use part yogurt and part cottage cheese. Plain, unsweetened. You do not need the sweetened. They put sugar in it. Tons of sugar that you do not need in your body. Sugars feed bad bacteria. Sugars raise your blood sugar, which can lead to diabetes. We do not want that. We do not need that in our lives. So here we go. We're going to put some yogurt at the bottom here. As you can tell, I've already eaten some of this yogurt because I love brown cow. I love my brown cow yogurt. And we're going to put yogurt at the bottom. And then we're going to layer it with fruit and nuts and cinnamon. Now, there's a lot of whey in here. I don't want the whey in my parfait. It's okay if the whey, just get liquidy at the top. But I'll tell you, my dogs really like the whey. So I'm going to give it to the dogs. And I don't want this really liquidy. You can do this with Greek yogurt. What kind of yogurt do you like? Put it in the chat. What is your favorite yogurt? Put it in the chat. Oops, went all over my tray. Oh, well. What's your favorite yogurt? Go ahead and put that in the chat. What's your favorite yogurt? There we go. All right. Oh, you like the vanilla Greek. I like Greek yogurt, but even the vanilla yogurt, they put a ton of sugar in. You do not need sugar. Okay, so next I'm going to put the walnuts. So I'm going to grab my walnuts. I'm going to put a little bit of walnuts in there. A little bit of walnuts. There we go. Maybe I'm going to do a little bit of cinnamon on this layer. Where's my cinnamon? Here we go. I buy cinnamon in bulk because we use so much of it. So that's why you see it in jars for me. So put a little bit of cinnamon in there. You don't have to use cinnamon. What kind of spice do you like? Do you rather have pumpkin spice, ginger? Please don't say turmeric, not with the sweet stuff. A little bit of that and fruit. Now I have all of these kiwi that I can slice up these kiwi and put kiwi in there, but I also have these beautiful, beautiful, oh my gosh, organic berries. Look how big that berry is. So I am going to delight in, I have raspberries and blackberries. We're going to put, let's do this. Let's do blackberries in one layer, and then we'll do raspberries in the other layer. We are going on vacation tomorrow for a couple of days, and we're driving there. So I'm going to take my parfaits in a jar and have them as snacks in the car because it's a long, long, long drive. My next layer, yep, I'm going to do some cottage cheese on my next layer. You can do all yogurt. You don't even have to do layers, okay? You can just put the stuff at the top. I get a little messy if I don't have wide mouths, unfortunately. Sorry. You're going to see my mess here. But here we go. We're going to put the cottage cheese next. And I'm going to use all of this up because I'm not going to be home for a week. And I don't want to leave it in my refrigerator. You know what? Life is messy. Wash your hands. Because I'm getting really messy with this here. But that's okay. Life is messy. Wash your hands. That's my new slogan. I think I'm going to make a t-shirt out of that. Life is messy. Wash your hands. I love this cottage cheese. It is so good. Yummy, yummy, yum. Full of protein. Good for you. Good for you. Okay. Now, next, what are we going to put next? What about peanut butter? You can put peanut butter on top of this, in the middle of it, anywhere. But just when you're going to buy peanut butter, make sure your peanut butter doesn't have added sugar because we already said we don't need sugar. And I prefer peanut butter organic just so that it's not full of pesticides and the such, okay? Now we're going to put all of our raspberries on top. Yeah, a lot of peanut butters are full of sugar. It disappoints me. Sometimes even organic ones are full of sugar. And sugar does not do well in anybody's body. Yeah, we crave sugar. Sugar is okay to have on occasion, just not every single day, every single day, every single day. And all right, I'm going to put a little bit more walnuts on the top. What full of nutrition is this? Are these parfaits? Powerhouse. These are powerhouse parfaits. And it's fast food that you can make. Take one day a week and you have all your breakfasts, you have all of your lunches, and you'll have energy because, as you said in the beginning, you want energy, and this is how you're going to get it. Put a little bit more cinnamon, as much cinnamon as you want. Lowers blood sugar. I love cinnamon. Love, love, love. It's one of my faves in this house. Cinnamon. Okay, and I'm going to clean this up, get the cottage cheese off the sides, and I want to say thank you so much for being here today. You've been a really great audience. This summer we've done yogurt, peaches, berries, cinnamon, drizzle of organic. Ooh, honey would be lovely, lovely, lovely on these. Absolutely. So there we have it. Our parfait in a jar, our parfaits in a jar. And we're just going to clean up the little mess that I made there. It's all good. It's all good. I would just want to say that, oh, here we go. This is still coming up to pressure, the Mexican soup. So unfortunately, I won't be able to show it to you. And you kind of get the idea though. Go in there with the scissors, cut up the chicken. It's so much easier that way. Pour a can of the coconut milk and serve it. You'll serve it with cilantro, some avocados, a little bit of lime, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of tortilla chips. I always go organic on the tortilla chips because they taste better. And so there we have it. We have our salads in a jar. Here we go. Our salads in a jar, our parfaits in a jar, and our marvelous Mexican soup that's still cooking. All right. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And oh, I have a free gift for everybody. Caitlin is going to put in the chat box a free, I call it the Joyful Gut Reboot Guide. It's an ebook that I wrote for you. And it's just the basics on health and wellness and nutrition. and just so you could have a joyful gut and live a life that's healthy, vibrant, and free. So if you want, go ahead and go on over to that link and download that. What I'd love to know, I'd love to know, what have you found most valuable about our time together today? What is that one or two things that you're just going to remember and start implementing in your life? Like, is it salads in the jar? Is it making more soups? Is it taking your crock pot out? I don't know. What is it? What are those one or two things? Thank you for your time and energy. You're welcome, Andrew. You're very welcome. So yeah. So what is that you have found most valuable about our time together today? I'd love to hear it.
Hey, Tina, Andrew wants to know what the best kind of honey to add. Would it be raw honey?
Oh, I love honey. But remember, honey is still sugar. So if you are diabetic, you want to go like honey is, I use it as medicinal. But raw honey is definitely better because it's not processed and you get all the enzymes that are in the honey. Absolutely. Do raw honey. Great question. Great question. All right. What have you found most valuable about our time together today? Versatility in salads and the better lid. Yeah, the better lid. How to cut an onion and so much more healthy choices, and love the jar ideas. Yep. Yeah, I can even do soups in a jar. They're fun. The recipes, the knowledge, the tips on various foods, and 10 to 12 cups of vegetables. Yeah. Look how many cups of vegetables you're going to get in that salad in a jar. You're going to get at least 4 here. 4. You need 10 to 12 every single day. Throw them in a smoothie for breakfast. We've got at least a cup of vegetables, maybe a half a cup in our parfaits. Maybe you need a little bit more fruit. I don't know on this one. So yeah, the recipes, the knowledge, the various food. Yeah, 10 to 12 cups of vegetables. Yeah. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for all of your fantastic interaction. I love the fact that you just kept being with me in the chat so that I can feel your energy. And it was so much fun. I hope that you take away from this something that you'll remember for the rest of your life so that you can live a life that's full of health, full of vibrancy, and full of joy in the kitchen and maybe out of the kitchen because you're not spending so much time here. All right. And until from the top to the bottom to the middle of my heart, thank you very much. And until next time, namaste. Bye for now, everyone. Bye for now. Have a phenomenal day. Have a phenomenal day.